right? So John Salley was on Byron Scott's podcast, and they asked him about this new era of basketball and if he could survive in it. This is what he said.
Now you talk about today. Phil Jackson coaching today, that triangle would be successful.
Yeah, it's called the Golden State Warriors.
Could you be successful in today's game with the load management, hands-off defense?
Yeah. I still would knee you in the thigh.
See, I think you would be more successful.
Yeah.
In today's game.
Because they can't touch you.
Yeah.
And this is another, I was coaching in Puerto Rico. I think I said
you
right?
told me, yeah.
So I'm coaching in Puerto Rico. I have a whole new respect for coaching. And while I'm coaching in Puerto Rico, I said to this one guy he's in the G League. He said, if you give me any advice, you know what I'm saying, what do you think I should do? I said, you got to get in shape. He goes, I'm in shape. I go, you are so far out of shape. I see you huffing and puffing. He said, man, I've been playing all game. And I had to think about it. I said, then you're not in shape.
Right.
Right? And I said, you don't ever hear a soccer player saying that. A soccer player is in shape. He can run all day, mad that the game is over. Dennis Rodman would play and then ride the bike.
Right.
So I said, you have to be, and because this every other time down court, the ref blows the whistle, you stop it. I didn't remember that. I didn't remember the ref blowing the whistle so much when I was playing too. So now I think, you can't hit people. You can shoot whatever shot. Analytics, you shoot more shots than you did before.
Yeah.
You have to be able to shoot that shot. Everybody is jumping out of the gym.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to play now.
Yeah. I was listening to my boy Michael Thompson, and they were talking on the radio, and my name came up, and he said, and they asked him about me if I was playing today's game. He said, "Oh, Byron probably averaged about 25." I said, "It would have been perfect for me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't touch me. I can shoot. I can run. I can get to the basket." I said, "This has been great. I would have loved to play in this era where you could shoot 8, 9 threes before halftime." I said, "My most threes I think I shot in the game was 5."
Really?
5. In the game.
What's funny is Westbrook.
5 made.
Well, I was 5 for 5,
okay.
But that's all I shot was those 5 threes. That's the most threes I shot in a game.
It used to look crazy in the NBA when you took a 3.
Yeah.
Because it was a low percentage shot.
Right.
They were like, come on, get it down, throw it to the big man. And the big man would monster in and bang
inside
and all that stuff. And that was the attitude. Westbrook imitates your play.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He goes to the basket exactly like you. You just dunk with one hand. He dunks with 2.
Mm-hmm.
But Westbrook imitated your whole flow to me. And I was like, yeah, that's that LA flow, man. They crip walk into the basket.
All right, so a couple of points he made. One, I'm gonna start from the end where Byron Scott said, it'll be lovely to play in this era where you can take as many as threes as possible. He said they was getting 8 to 9 threes before halftime. And he said, man, I only took 5 was the most I ever taken in a game, and I made all 5 of them. You get what I'm saying? Like if I hit 5 shots, if I'm 5 for 5 behind the arc, that ain't gonna happen. I at least got to take a heat check. I got to miss 1 or 2 before I stop shooting them. 5 for 7 sounds good, but 5 for 5, nah, you got to take that 6th one. And if that 6th one don't go, 1 more heat check. So 5 for 5 is just, but it is what it is. That's just how they coached back then. They didn't like people to jack up threes. You got a big man in the post. He's 7 foot. The rim is 10 foot. Which one is an easier shot? A big man that can actually maneuver down low in the post, 1-on-1. That's a better shot than a 3. Now, even if you're wide open, they really didn't like a lot of threes unless the ball touched the paint at some point, right? When you coach, a coach wouldn't like for the ball to just stay on the perimeter and then you get a jump shot or a long 2 or a long 3 and the ball never reach the paint. Like either the guard has to try to penetrate and attack the gaps and draw help, double team, hedge, something. Draw some type of help where you can kick out to a shooter And that catch and shoot is better than someone just coming dribbling into a 3-point shot, right? Without a couple of passes, right? So they want you to penetrate, attack the gaps, get in the paint somehow, some way, because that collapses the defense. And then that jump shot you're going to get is more than likely going to be a little bit more open and more high percentage. So I'm fine with a 3 if we tried to get in the paint first. But if the penetration don't work, sometimes if you got, especially if you got a big man like Shaq or Hakeem or David Robinson in the post, even Rick Smith, you throw the ball in that post first, because now a 7-footer that's 4 feet away from the rim and can get to the rim with one drop step dribble and a jump hook or a sky hook or up and under or whatever the case may be, that's a more high percentage shot, and it's more of a probability that either that big man gets fouled or the double team comes before they can make that move to get that high percentage shot. So now here comes the double team. The ball has touched the paint. The double team comes, and now he dishes it out, and the defense is rotating, and we're going to get a good shot off of that. That's basketball. All right. He's saying that they're not even playing like that. They're just jacking threes up, right? Then you can't touch nobody on defense. That's what John Salley talked about. And then he said these players ain't even in shape no more. I mean, think about Luka Doncic. He plays on the wing. What wing player in the 90s, like, put it this way. Let's say he played the Pacers and he got to guard Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller is running through screens. You got Anthony Davis and Dale Davis, the Davis brothers, setting double screens for Reggie Miller. And then there's another staggered screen from 6'10" Derek McKee. And Luka got to chase Reggie Miller around for 4 quarters and stop him from getting catch and shoot from the 3-point line. Not going to happen. Luka's not in shape enough for it. Imagine Jokic or Embiid trying to run the floor with David Robinson on a fast break, or Hakeem Olajuwon. These guys came in every season in tip-top shape. We didn't have superstars that were also the least conditioned players in the league. Luka Vandross is one of the worst conditioned players in the league, and we're calling him, ESPN's calling him the second best player in the league. How's that possible? Who was in better shape than Jordan? Pippen, Hakeem, David, Reggie, Mitch Richmond, Clyde Drexler. The only superstar that we had that was fat and out of shape was Charles Barkley. Larry Johnson in great shape. Lonzo Mourning in great shape. These dudes was cut up. We had Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound. But now you can go all around the league, and you can go from top 15 players and grab 10 of them that's horribly conditioned. Luka, Embiid, Zion's fat cupcake ass, Jokic. The list just goes on and on. Steph is very good in this shape and condition. So is Kyrie. So is KD. So is LeBron. But LeBron plays on the wing. You know what? I ain't even go get on LeBron. LeBron as well. But we got superstars that they're not in shape. And then they get hurt every 5 minutes. It's just unreal. Right? Here's more of John Salley.
Right. Now, when we talk about the NBA today, Spider, and you look at the way it's played today, you know, love it or not, you know, or how you feel about it, you know, with no hand checking, can't hit anybody if they go to the paint because it's called restricting their progress, you know, or impeding the progress.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think about the NBA today?
I think it's exciting. I think it's high flying entertainment. I think it is definitely, like, I don't know how you go to sleep after watching an NBA game now, especially if you're going to the Clippers, because the place has you, your sensory is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're really talented. They don't have fundamentals.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no fundamentals whatsoever. And if they had fundamentals, they'd be 10 times better.
European players.
Yeah. Like when I watch Joker, I can't believe that's happening. I can't believe it's happening, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Spider, before you came in, we was talking about the NBA. We were talking
that.
about what is it lacking. We said fundamentals, because how if these guys, which they are, they are so unbelievably athletic.
Yeah.
You know, they are gifted. But how is the best player in the world, in the league of the NBA, is a guy that's 7 feet, can't run, can't jump, but his fundamentals are so fucking good.
Oh.
And he's so smart that he can dominate a game.
And what if he didn't have a coach that, you know, I love Mike Malone. His father was the great Brendan Malone. Brendan Malone recruited me to go to Syracuse from high school. So that's how long I've been around Mike and that life. And he realized I better just let him be him and see if I can control everybody. Because him stepping back and putting the ball behind his head and then shooting it, and they go, man, it went in. Well, he's shooting it off the backboard. He's not aiming for the rim. He is aiming for the backboard. So that mentality, like when I was in Puerto Rico, I would say to these guys, hey, today, no shots straight in, all shots off the backboard. And you would have thought I said, yeah, your sister's held up naked in the room. Like I was like, y'all can't shoot off the backboard? They were like, no. I said, what do you mean, no? You don't? I said, okay, so let me show you these points.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this old dude going to show us. What are you going to show us? A hook shot next? Yeah. Because this works. And my big man was shooting hook shots. And they were like, oh, he got this thing, this hook shot. Yeah, it works.
Right.
Anyway, I said, hit it here and go here. Hit it here and go. Didn't make any difference. Whatever he's talking about. So I said, we got to get a tape of Kyrie, see if you can put it together. And I put it up, and Kyrie was talking about how he had a hole in his backboard, so he had to put it everywhere but
spin it this way, spin it. Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah. Then they're like, oh, everything was copy.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah.
None of them are understanding the true understanding of what the footwork is. What was the big man camp up in Oregon?
You're not talking about Pete Newell's camp.
Newell's camp, right?
Because he went from Oregon down to here, down to LA.
When you're doing
the mic and drill,
it may seem like it's bothering you, but boy, once you get used to it and seeing it, and once you do it 1,000 times, you'll be in a situation and boom.
Yeah.
It
comes natural.
Yeah. But you have to have that mentality of fundamental. That's it.
Now
So if you can listen to how they talk, and that's Byron Scott, that's John Salley, they don't really respect this era. And they try, especially when they work in media or they close to the NBA, they might be coaching or they might try to be getting back in coaching. They try to respect this era because if you let everyone know that's spectating and there's fans that you don't respect this era, you're going to undermine the game. You're going to undermine Adam Silver, and you're going to undermine the superstars of this league, and that's not helping the league. You want the league to actually continue to grow and flourish and make money, right? So it's very hard for these dudes that see NBA and the players in the NBA as a fraternity. It's very hard for you to come out publicly and say everything that's wrong and to call it out for what it is and the truth, you know. And that's the struggle that they have. That's why you hear Kevin Garnett 1 week, oh man, this area is great, and you know, blah blah, and all this great stuff, and then the next week, look, man, I'm bruh, stop comparing the eras, man. This junk week, right? They struggle with it because look, I'm trying to be in the media and I'm trying to respect this era, and I want to keep pushing the game forward. But man, we got issues, man. Like seriously, man, these dudes don't want to play 82 games. They can't play 82 games. They get injured left and right. They're out of shape. They don't know how to play offense or defense. They don't have the fundamentals of the game. Only thing they can do is step back threes and dribble, and high screen and roll and run full speed at the rim or shoot a three. That it ain't nothing else to people's game. Like John Morant and Giannis are crash dummies. Like the two dudes that you used to see on those commercials that get in that car and they just drive it straight to the wall just to test the car out. Those are crash dummies. That's what John Morant and Giannis do. They run full speed and jump as high as they can and hope that you get out of the way and let them dunk. Ja Morant looked like every time he's going to the hole, he's going to get undercutted and flip and fall awkwardly. Giannis run full speed and just throw his body and hope that he hears a whistle so he can throw a shot out and get to the free throw line. That's all he's doing. He's running full speed. Like how unskilled and how lack of fundamentals you got to have to need a running start to get a shot off. Like imagine if Michael Jordan had to run full speed to get a high percentage shot. Just think of that. You get the ball to Mike. Just think about that shot he made over Byron Russell. All that defense on him. He didn't panic. He dribbled. He let that clock run down because he knew I'm taking the last shot. And then when I start my move, I'm going to take one dribble. And I know he's going to be close. So I'm going to go ahead and do a nice little tap on his leg and cross back over into my jump shot. There was one dribble. You can't even get to full speed on one dribble. Giannis and LeBron needs a screen, and then they got to run full speed, top speed, the fastest they could ever run. They're running Carl Lewis 40 times to the rim. I got to run full speed for this offense. I don't want that guy leading my offense. A fast break every now and then, I like that. That's what Anthony Mason did for the Knicks. But the Knicks spread the floor for Anthony Mason because he could drive to the rim really good. They spread the floor for him and make Ewing set screens for him so he can run full speed at the rim. And since I got a big body, there's nobody that you can put on me that's going to be able to knock me off my path when I'm running full speed. And that's our offense. Who the hell want to watch that? It's Groundhog Day. Everyone's running that. They tried to make Zion run that offense 2 years ago when Van Gundy was in New Orleans. We're gonna let fat Zion, who's out of shape. Why reward someone who can't even show up in shape? I wouldn't even run offense through someone that's out of shape. You wouldn't even start on my ball club if you was out of shape. You show up out of shape and you supposed to be the franchise player. Sit your fat beluga whale butt on the bench. I like when the Redskins did that to Albert Haynesworth. He go sign a huge contract with Washington and show up fat and out of shape. Shanahan said, "You're not in shape. You're not physically fit to be at training camp. You can't practice with us. Run sprints for 2 weeks until you lose 20 pounds." And people had a problem with that. Nah, you got to actually start treating these dudes like this. You want to eat your way out of millions of dollars? Zion wasn't doing no, but was eating and smashing point. You know what? That's another topic. But my point is, at some point, we got to be honest about this era, man. Is very weak and is lacking the fundamentals, and that's what they're talking about, right? So, there was a lot that went on in this podcast, and someone just mentioned something about Larry Bird. They talked about Larry Bird too. And they compared Larry Bird to Jokic. They was like, yeah, Larry Bird, the way, not Jokic, but Luka. The way Luka moves, that's how Larry moves, except Larry actually played defense and knew the game. That's what John Salley said. Like, it's a joke, man. You can't compare most players to Larry Bird. He was just too good. The 90s to the early 2000s was the golden era of NBA basketball. And everything is downhill from there. Everything before the 90s was a gradual increase, right? And then when it got to the 90s, that was the peak. And they kept and sustained that peak for as long as possible. And then once we got to LeBron and Curry's era and Kevin Durant's era, it's been a slow decline. So much of a decline that the WNBA basketball is actually better basketball than the NBA. So we're on a decline now. We've seen the best of the NBA. It doesn't get back to what we've seen in the 90s. It's never going back. They're making too much money to go back. They're just going to go right into NBA, National Basketball Entertainment Association. That's what they're going to be. They decided that, right? So it's not real no more. So we just got to live with that.